It's one of the most secretive nations in the world. Uzbekistan, famous for its ancient Islamic architecture. But this country is also the home of several men involved in terrorist attacks in the West in recent years. It was the deadliest attack targeting New York since 9/11. 8 people died when a truck was driven into a crowd on a cycle path in Manhattan. US authorities say that 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov from Uzbekistan carried out the attack in the name of the Islamic State group. We travelled to Uzbekistan and tracked down those who knew Saipov. We found his mother at the family home in a middle-class neighbourhood in the capital Tashkent. She didn't want to be filmed, but away from the camera she told me that Sayfullo was a kind young man who loved his family. Sayfullo's mother can't accept that her son is a terrorist and says she wants to believe that what happened was an accident.
We were shocked and anxious when we heard that he was involved in this business, because before he left Uzbekistan, he was a completely different person. So I can't imagine what could have influenced him so much.
At the local school, Saipov is remembered fondly.
He stayed after classes and he had extra lessons, maybe sometimes mathematical lessons, English lessons, but never he spoke about the religious, he's trying to go to some place for religious purpose. I have never heard about it.
The BBC was given permission to report from Uzbekistan for the first time in 12 years. After decades of repressive rule, the country appears to be opening up. The vast majority of Uzbeks are Muslim. The government tightly controls religious life and all clerics must be registered with the authorities. Terrorist attacks committed within Uzbekistan are almost unheard of. But thousands of Uzbeks are in prison for extremism. Human rights groups say many are simply political opponents. But Uzbek migrants have been responsible for several deadly terrorist attacks in the West in the last few years. Officials in Tashkent tell us the men involved in these killings were all radicalized abroad.
Uzbek migrants living abroad still feel like strangers in a foreign land. Here we have strong traditions of community. In the case of Saipov, someone must have approached him and told him what to do.
The authorities say that they're working with Uzbeks abroad in order to combat those feelings of alienation, in the hope that others will not succumb to extremism, with often tragic consequences. Vernon, BBC News, Uzbekistan.